ate jerky and what? I remember when we climbed up to the top of the pyramid of Pisa, almost to the top, and that guy was yelling at us to come back down.
I didn't go inside. There's like this weird feeling there. Magnetic power.
Yeah, you could, it's like, it wasn't static electricity, but it was kind of like that. Thank you.
You can time travel from in there.
I don't know what they say.
Just go in the middle part and then like tap your shoes 3 times. Then you wind up.
What did she say? I want to go home?
There's no place.
There's no place like And hey, Dodo, I don't think we're in Kansas City.
Yeah, we got these totos here. They're big and brown, these guys.
They are.
Where'd you come from, Toto? South Africa? Oh, they travel.
McGinnis. Gamer kelpies. That's my favorite Afrikaans word.
There's J.A., there's Aid.
Shalom, my brother.
Shout out to Grace Akers. She's a channel supporter. Whoa.
Pardon my breakfast. Look at that phone.
And my lunch. Well, I can't see it. It's not responding fast enough. There's Smiling Mary and Ken Moreland.
Hey, Ken.
Ken said yesterday's live stream made his day.
Well, he made our day.
Yeah, I don't know why this thing is not showing the comments. Come on, dude, catch up. There we go. Okay.
What am I having for breakfast today, SK? Today's live stream, this portion of today's live stream,
Breakfast
is brought to you by Jack Links. Extra thick cut steak strips. Doesn't that sound better than jerky?
which we bought. I didn't send it to us.
No, I'm just pretending we're like a real show.
There's Shelly W. Good morning. Forest Dog, shout out. She's a channel supporter. Shout out to you and to Grace Akers. Shalom. There's Mad Cal. Did you make a lot of progress? You people painting yesterday, 2 lives in a row. I love spring break. And this is also
Both?
operators of mine. I have the Dudley Duo.
You have the Dudley Duo.
Yes.
The lovely Dudley Duo.
2 very
Lovely and dangerous Dudley
yes,
Duo.
lovely and dangerous. And such a sweet lady, Miss Lovely Dudley. She's just a lovely, lovely lady.
Their son doesn't know if he likes me yet or not.
Oh, he knows
He
me.
gives me like the stink eye when he looks at me like,
I used to have very significant interactions with their son when he was a little bit younger, but he's getting older. He's starting to explore the world, so I'm just in the background now. There's Hunter Kirk from North Idaho.
I remember when he first joined, I thought he might be like my cousin Kirk. He's also a hunter.
And Hamlet? Is that right? Hamlet? Harriet, welcome to a crew member. Wow, she's a channel supporter now. Harriet, thank you very much. Kevin F, so Shalom, FK, and PJ. Is that our Kevin?
Who?
Kevin F.
I don't know Kevin S.
F. Was it Frank? Was it Fraser? Was it Fish?
Oh, I don't know.
Our new Wonder Twins name, a lovely Dudley Duo. There's a Soyo Pete, Shalom, candy ground beef. While I listen to you all, stay safe. That sounds like a very smart thing to do.
I didn't know you could can ground beef. I made hamburger rocks out of about 200 pounds of ground beef one time.
And she says Shalom. And there's Wes S. So I have 1,
Everybody's here.
2, 3, 4 moderators online right now.
We're good to go.
Yes, it can keep people under control. And there's Paul Gorecki. He is also a channel supporter. Shalom from Eastern Long Island.
No, you said that wrong. Long Island.
Shalom from Eastern Long Island. In Remember what, Colleen? She's also a channel supporter. Yahoo! I made a live stream. Yay! Thank you for supporting the channel. And
Mom, no hands.
remember what, Colleen has her own channel. She has her own.
Why is it that they go to left, right,
Homestead.
close to head and have a slow person in front of me?
And they're in a car very similar to ours. You can drive that car faster.
They don't understand that the speed limit is a suggestion.
Remember what, Colleen has her own homestead, and she's got a video up where she shows.
Is she
her
British?
real-
Sounds
No.
almost like a British name.
No.
Pepper what?
No, and I was like, Prepper, what? Colleen. Like, I'm
Pepper
sure.
what?
It's,
And Colleen's almost like,
it's an
come on.
Irish.
Yeah,
Come on, Eileen. But Colleen is an Irish name.
yeah. I had a girl in my high school named Colleen.
I have a cousin named
I think
Colleen.
it's like a
Mad Count
like
says,
sweetie. I think it means like that. Like it's a term of endearment, Colleen.
Mad Count says, I canned a bunch of ground beef, usually use it mostly for tacos. USS says, I canned hamburger once, it was not filling me up, so I fired it and hired a cheeseburger. Paul says, laugh out loud, not out here. We don't abuse our cheese the way they do on the west end of the island.
Hey, I have a question. Can I ask your people a question?
Yeah, ask away.
So it's commonly understood if you're trying to eat healthy and whatnot, that cheeseburgers are bad for you. Like eating cheeseburgers is bad. What I want to know is, other than the bun, what's bad about a cheeseburger? It's meat and cheese.
Salty and fatty.
So,
Kevin F. covering up the plans last night. We had a freeze warning in my area of Missouri.
Missouri.
Right? Almost the end of April, and there's still freeze warnings in some places. Of course, listen to us. Wisconsin is having like blizzards up there right now. So when we have a freeze warning.
You should show people that picture. That's what we're talking about right there.
All right, well, look. Yeah, we're going
Can
to
you
show
do
you
that?
some. Yeah. We're going to show you something, and then we're going to talk about it, okay? That's what we're showing you.
You're showing your sky. Yeah, now.
Would you don't give a woman a job and then tell her how to do it. All right? All right. Just so you get kind of an idea. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So now we're back to our regular programming.
Be very careful. Don't turn it off.
I'm being very careful. I'm not turning it off. It's a little sideways, but other than that, yeah, maybe it'll pop out if I don't center it a little bit. And why did we do that? Why did we show you that picture? Did y'all see that? There's Steve Wilson, One Old Man and Yahweh. Thank you for supporting the channel, Steve. You get a shout out for that. Oh, this thing I think is, yeah, it's behind. Nothing wrong with a bunless burger. Home on the range, says Sarah Hoskins. Okay, go ahead. It was your topic. Introduce it.
Home on the range,
Woo, woo,
where the deer and the antelope play,
woo, woo, woo.
where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not cloudy all day. That's kind of what we're talking about.
Woo, woo.
You want me to start?
Yes, it was your topic. Go for
It
it.
caught me with jerky in my mouth. All right. So I've been saying for years, Kuhimp.
Go hip.
It's pronounced Kuhimp. Come out of her, my people. Lest you partake of her sins and receive of her plagues. There's several layers to that. But the main first, dare I say, easiest layer is to come out of the built-up areas and move to the rural areas, to the boonies. And one way I describe boonies is you cannot have a pizza delivered. And we were talking about that. And I think, a lot of people think the Ozarks, the Redoubt, which is, Pacific Northwest-ish, Rocky Mountains-ish up there.
Up there.
Appalachia, right? Especially southern Appalachia. Some people think of like upstate New York, maybe. But I think there's a vast area that would be a good potential that people are ignoring. And that is, if you've ever driven across this land of ours, we're actually in it right now. There there is a swath of prairie that, as you go west, kind of transforms into high desert. That is just vast, open spaces.
Spaces.
And I'm pretty sure a body could buy some land out there and set themselves up. They'd do pretty good. And it's not like one can buy an acre plot. You're going to have to buy it in, 100 or plus acres.
Can I interrupt for just a second?
I just want to make this one point, then you can take it.
Sure.
Thing is, if you can't afford that, you could get together with your crew and buy 100 or couple or several hundred acres of this probably relatively, compared to here, inexpensive land, and set yourself up. Yes.
Set yourself up.
Set yourself up.
A couple of points on that topic. One, I have older videos where I'm out in the western part of this state, and I just drive along and show you the wide open spaces.
We are in the western part of this state.
We're in the eastern part of this
We're
state.
in Missouri.
We're in the western part of this state. Western part of the state next door. And I show you, we're not exaggerating. Miles and miles and miles and miles and miles of wide open spaces.
Watch your dog run away for 3 days.
2 weeks and still see him out there. There he is. Rover's still running away. Then Aid, who lives across the pond, he came and visited, and he made a comment. I have seen this land, or I've been across that land of yours, and he gave a thumbs up. So that's a witness.
And I'm gonna witness.
On cheeseburgers, did you process the meat yourself or buy from the store? There's a difference. You can do it either way, prep or what.
I think he was asking me.
No,
We don't
this is
process.
different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You can process stuff you grow yourself, and you can also process stuff you buy. Like it's not going to change. You can can it or dehydrate it, whatever. And then there was a person, you betcha.
You betcha.
You betcha.
That sounds like something they say up north.
Please ask Pastor, I have EMP shielding on my vehicle. How do I keep the government from taking my vehicle in case of an EMP?
How do you keep the government from taking your vehicle? Don't be where the government is. Come out of her, my people.
Then Shalom to Nittaviller Forge and Woodcraft. Watch Pastor Joe Eaton, says Rockland Ranch. He's eating
It's our sponsor of this part of our video. Jack Links.
It's a
They're not really sponsoring us. I just made that up. But if Jack Links would like to sponsor us by sending us a couple cases of Jack Links, I'd be happy.
I was going to say it is the food of our Great Plains. It is something the natives developed.
That's what we're talking about, isn't it?
Right? And we are still eating it. It is called jerky. It is dried meat.
Do you know, we started out talking about South Africa. Do you know what they call it there?
I do not.
Biltong.
Biltong. I have seen that word spelled, though. I know how it's spelled.
Biltong.
And it's just one step removed from the hamburger rocks and the canned hamburger we're talking about. Grace Acres says, I feel exposed in wide open spaces. I prefer wood and hills. I do too, Grace Acres, but when you're talking about people who can't afford to buy in areas like this with people around, I mean, there are plains areas with trees that are for sale. But the farther west and south you go, obviously you're getting closer and closer to desert. And it's going to be harder to find the exact thing that you want. But if you don't have a lot of money and you feel like you're running out of time, do your best.
The other thing is you can see people coming from a long way away out there in the wide open spaces.
Yep.
You got to become a riflewoman in your case.
Right. Biltong is delicious as Arkansas living.
I've never had biltong. I've had lots of jerky, and if it's exactly the same thing, then
JS Badger is coming online. Shalom, brother.
I know who that is now.
Yes, we are working on coming out of her, says Rock Lake Ranch. Rock Lake Ranch is also...
Why you be licking those rocks?
They're salty, of course, full of minerals. is also
It's
building
only up to
some
the cows to
kind
get.
of some kind of pole barn thing on their channel, and he's been doing updates. It looks like it's going to be a pretty good size.
We need a barn.
Yeah, we do. We need a barn badly. Colleen Rodemer says wilderness is always my choice. Cornfed and Hawkeye Wabita says, I love that, by the way. That's a really funny channel name. I am very proud to say all of my family have come out of her. Well, hallelujah.
All of your people have come out of her.
Now, Forest Dog says, yes, wilderness is my home too. Awesome. Obviously, Shofar Mountain is wilderness as well. We like it. But,
I think these people are confusing trees with wilderness.
yeah, I think you're confusing.
You know, the
trees.
Israelites went out into the wilderness, and it looked a lot like the land we were talking about, the Great Plains.
The desert. Rock Lick is the name of the creek that runs through the land. I'll bet you it was salty, or it was a buffalo salt lick kind of thing in the day, because a lot of roads in America are based on those buffalo trails that first went to mineral areas and salty areas or water.
I have a quick prepper tip. How much salt do you guys have? If you do any kind of research into salt, you need it. And if the world goes poop and you can't buy things, you're really going to need salt. And right now, salt is so cheap and so easy to store.
You don't even have to bring it across the desert on a camel's back right now.
That's
you can
right.
Just go down to your local store and buy it.
Pounds and pounds of it. Good barter item, too.
Used to be how the Romans paid some of their people.
That's where they get the phrase, worth his salt.
All right. Soya P says canning butter, just doing the things. Yes, canning butter is doing the things. And Becky Schieffer says hello from Indianapolis. Lamp Keeper, who's a channel supporter, has signed on. It says hello, Pastor and Sister Kate. So glad you decided to do this today. I was working on the budget and was in desperate need of reason to procrastinate. Hey, we don't want to be a procrastinating budget reason.
If you haven't heard me talk about how to heat your home after grid down in some place like North Dakota when you live in the middle of nowhere, or Western Nebraska, if you have not heard my idea to do that, give us your idea. How are you going to heat?
Yep. Lost service there. We're
What
still
the heck?
there. Hopefully we don't enter too much. If we get too much of that going on, we will just end the live stream, because it's so annoying to have the ring and all that. But yeah.
Well, we can't. I cannot see one house, and I can see for probably 5 miles in every direction.
There's power lines too.
There are power lines.
I will be sending PJ an email and stuff next week about a thing such JS Batcher. And let me go on. I'm behind again. I'm headed to the store today, and salt is on the list already.
There you go.
Yep, we're back. Do we have any answers?
Maybe they've all heard it.
Heating a sod house.
No, it doesn't have to be a sod house. Any house. How do you heat your house in winter in the Great Plains?
Heat your house in winter in the Great Plains.
In a grid down situation.
Grid down situation. Moonlight. I am happy. My wife and I cracked into a couple 1-month-old pressure canned hamburger pint jars. Delicious. It's so worth it to can your own food. You can make it as tasty as you want. We eat hamburger straight from the farmers at the meat market. Oh, there you go. I can't believe that's
How do you say meat market in Espanol?
Carniceria.
Carniceria.
Do we have a tornado shelter?
We just talked about that. We're going to get a couple tornado shelters put in on the land.
We're going to get a couple put in on the land. And then Rocklick Ranch says, burning buffalo chips, question mark?
Used to be a plan, but there aren't any buffalo out there in any great enough numbers that would be sustainable anymore. That is what they used to do.
If you moved out there, that might be an argument for you to get some buffalo.
I don't know how many buffalo you need to have a lifetime supply of buffalo
Well,
chips.
no one said it had to be a lifetime supply.
I did. It's
Just
post-grid
enough to
down.
get you-
Winter's coming.
Just enough to get you through each winter. Didn't they used to burn buffalo chips?
They did. But that's not going to work now because
Do
we
they
don't have
have
plains black with buffalo in it.
Do they have peat bogs. I have not heard of peat bogs being up there.
I don't
Have
think
them
so.
in
It's
Florida.
pretty dry. It's
Yeah.
pretty dry up there.
Come on now. There's like a bunch of you people.
I remain skeptical.
Skeptical. Did everyone make it back?
What happens when you're in the boonies, man?
Colleen Burr said geothermal. Nidaviller Ford said he buys salt from the Amish, the bags of sea salt, oxidized raw sugar, and said we're buffered. All right, can you guys hear us again? I know it's so annoying when this happens.
Is Greek Homestead, are they in Greece?
Yes, I showed you a picture of the lady. She sent me a picture. Okay, 14 people made the leap. Break time is over. Have to go, everyone. Now, while everything is pressure canning, working now on chopping up stuff for fire cider, said Villa Forge. Calling it would be a good idea. I do agree with geothermal. All right, let's see. There's only 8 people here. Matt Kelp is still here, but he's heard the answer.
It sure has.
Seeing you better now, said Paul Gorecki.
I see some civilization up there.
Lady
So.
Wyatt, we use wood burner. She's probably in Nebraska or South Dakota right now.
Where do you get wood?
I told my hubby,
100 acres of no trees.
somebody sent us some money.
Thank you.
I told hubby we need a root cellar. He drew up a build. His logic is make it big enough the first time.
Yep. A root cellar's like a gun safe. It's never big enough.
Oh, that was from Lone Star Living. Thank you for their donation, Lone Star. And Forstock's still here, Hunter Creek's still here, Greek Homestead's here, and she said, yes, we are. I would invite you, but we will probably get involved in a war soon, which is sad. And that war's been going on.
Greece, who are you going to fight? Turkey?
They fight the Turks, and I think recently.
That's it, isn't it? Who are you going to fight in your war? Greek Homestead?
Yeah, I think it is the.
Are you thinking the
Turks.
European war that's brewing?
Is Cuba, Missouri a good area to live in? Says
Cuba?
Lost Light.
You know anybody in Cuba?
I don't know.
Is it anywhere near Houston?
Houston, Missouri?
Yeah. Is it anywhere near Houston?
Is it anywhere near Houston? Yep. Turkey. She said they're going to fight Turkey. Do you know that
Turkey.
when I was born?
You're going to fight Turkey until somebody wins.
When I was born in Cyprus,
Nicosia?
Nicosia, that's where I was born. That the same fight was going on, and my family had to be located all the way back to the
The word
United
is
States.
evacuated. I was living there also, and we were evacuated from Nicosia, Cyprus, to the then Paris of the Middle East, Beirut, Lebanon. Oh yes.
Oh yes.
My, how things have changed.
Yes, that fight is still going on, unfortunately. I wish the Greeks could just have, their islands and Turkey would come home.
And kick the Turks off of Cyprus.
Right.
That's what I say.
Greek Home said they will get us involved. Yeah, that's sad. It's east of Rolla. Rolla's got some believers in it.
Yeah, it sure does.
Yeah, as much as we know about it, it's a fine place to go Lost Light. There's a lot of believers around Springfield, too. Still
But
here.
Springfield's horrible. You don't want to live in Springfield.
No, not in the town. You guys are helping me prepare and freeze 60 pounds of flour. Nice. This is why I like Sister Kay. She is a Greek in the heart. It is true. I like the food and I like the beaches.
Hey, I was rolled on a mattress as a baby at some Greek wedding. They rolled me from one end to the other in some kind of fertility thing or something. Yeah, I was.
All right, so did you want to hear about how to heat a homestead?
No, they
up
don't. They all
north?
know.
Oh, they know already. All right. And Mayhem Country Living, which I also think is a pretty funny channel name.
Mayhem Country Living.
Yeah. Good morning, guys. Hope y'all are doing well.
That sounds like somebody who'd say something like, hey, y'all, hold my beer. Watch this.
That's right. McMikey says, shalom, y'all. Shalom, McMikey. got some pretty cool video on his Instagram of birds coming to the bird
Are
feeder.
those houses right there? Is that like a whole little group of
Yes,
houses on the
that's
same?
houses on a road. Oh, they're
They're
similar.
all very small in the city. They look like government housing in the middle of a field.
Yes, that custom
Share
still
properties.
exists in some areas. And SAWS, Survival Applications Weapon System, says, bless you both, safe travels.
I know who that is. Bless you, brother.
Bless you. Paul Gregory says, I know a couple of folks who live just a little south of Cuba, great area, but Cuba proper is right on a major interstate highway. Just get far enough off to one side or another. I'm on the miserable mitten now, and it's hard to find believers near us. Well, you will find believers up in that area. Right. So anyway, if you're cooping and you need
Cooping.
you need land that's affordable and you don't mind, moving from where you are, which kind of goes all together. The western middle part of our country, all the states that make up the
Man,
Great
I think if you
Plains
get
have
away from the
so
major
much land.
interstates, 70, 80, 90,
Right.
and you have a job that you can do online,
Online,
because
that's
internet's going
important.
everywhere now.
Right.
I mean, it's a
Yeah,
thing.
even little tiny towns are getting fiber optic coming through, or satellite hookup, or something.
Have you ever looked on a map how large Cherry County, Nebraska is? I bet you Cherry County, Nebraska is large as a county,
Right,
is larger than many states.
right, bigger than Rhode Island
Oh, most definitely.
or Delaware.
It might be bigger than like Maryland, but maybe not.
And another thing, if you like wilderness or trees or whatever, you can plant them. It's not like trees don't grow.
They did that in Arizona. All these people moved to Arizona because of their allergies.
Right.
And then they greened the whole place, and now
Now they
there's
have
terrible
allergies
allergies in Arizona.
But trees do grow. It's just the weather and, what do you call them? Pioneers coming through and cutting everything down. It has made parts of it bare. But you can plant trees. We are in the...
So you heard the story of Paul Bunyan, right? And the big blue ox. You know that story?
Yeah.
Well, there was this other lumberjack, and he was up there somewhere, Minnesota or something. And he would cut down trees with like one with his axe, and the whole tree would fall down. And people are like, man, you are good. Where did you learn to do that? And he said, I learned it in the Sahara forest. And the guy said, you mean the Sahara desert? He goes, well, yeah, now.
But we're living in a time when you can...
I'll be here all night, folks. Don't forget to tip your servers.
When you can order trees through the mail, you can go to Lowe's, you can go to a nursery, you can buy trees.
There are no Lowe's out there. They're out in the middle of nowhere.
No,
I got to drive
you can
2 hours to
drive-
go to the grocery store.
You can
That's a
drive
little
2
one.
hours and get some trees, or have them delivered by mail or Amazon or whatever, and you can start making your land however you want it. You can import dirt. You can get rocks.
You can make dirt. That's what we're doing on Shofar Mountain.
Right? You
We're
can
making
compost
dirt.
stuff and make your own dirt.
Although we did just buy some
You
weird
can
dirt.
put up fencing. You can run sheep. You can do whatever you want once you get your land. So we're just letting you know there is stuff out there. Let me see. Is Glock says Starlink, right? Starlink's gone up. You can have internet on your phone if you can do an internet job of any kind. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I've got to be a civil engineer online. No, it can be anything. It can be answering phones and doing, what do they call that when you just
Patreon?
want to complain?
Bitch.
No, come on, service, whatever. Get people calling you saying, hey, this thing was delivered and it doesn't work, and you tell them where it
Customer
needs to be.
service?
Yeah,
Customer no
service.
service?
You can do that. You can do lessons online. You can do consulting online. You can do Patreon. You can subscribe to medical stuff for
There was that
them.
girl I watched on the video who spoke Japanese, and she would download, she had a job where she would download stuff, translate it, and then upload it from a McDonald's, and they put money in her account. That's how
Right.
she
You
lives.
can do translation. You can do court reporting online. There's all kinds of things you can do online. So it will help you in your coming out to your rural, rugged property to look into, doing something online. All right. I have Starlink internet out in the sticks.
Do you like it?
It says Lone Star Living. Let me see if I can find you guys. These comments are running slow. I have Starlink out in the sticks and work from home. It's fast internet. And if Elon Musk's social profile is correct, he's conservative. So hopefully it's not something. It's something you can trust. Northwest South Dakota is pretty.
Northwest South Dakota. Okay, so that's up there by North Dakota.
Right. Was born in Missouri, moved to Arizona for years. Forest Preparedness says Arizona made my allergies horrible. Never had them in Missouri. It's probably because it's so many different plants and what you grow up on, your system wasn't ready for it. That's my theory. There's Raincat Studio. Call out to her. She's a channel supporter. Hello, and she's a very talented artist. She has some really nice paintings on Instagram. I had someone from DoorDash call me about picking up a prescription for me the other day, and I laughed. DoorDash doesn't come, to where I live. Yeah, you may have to wait until DoorDash is delivering by drone if you're really rural, but
Well, that's a long range. That's like a global hawk drone.
Right.
About some places.
I've seen drone delivery service in our area starting up. They're starting the practicing thing. All right. Compost everything. All right. Computer teching can be done online. I have a question.
I have an answer.
Since you have been living this lifestyle way longer than us, can you say that you live completely, independently? Something happens, it will not affect you at all.
No one can say that. Nobody can say that. Because the reason nobody can say that if anything happens, it won't affect you at all, it would be silly not to take advantage of things that one can take advantage of now that you can get out there. Like, I'm driving a car. I'm driving a car into which I must put gasoline. I just ate some
Jerky.
I don't have it. I was pretending they were our sponsor. Jack Link's Jerky. Yes, I could make jerky, but man, it saves a lot of time just to buy it. So, no, our life would change, but our life wouldn't change nearly as much as, take it easy there, trucker, as 99% of the people out there.
And if stuff changes drastically like that in your local area, people will be trying to do trading, selling. If you don't, your chickens and their eggs are probably going to be a commodity that people are going to be willing to buy them from you or trade you things to get your fresh eggs. So it's okay to be as self-sufficient as you can be, and also be willing to trade with people and barter with people if it's necessary. Mad Kelp says, I've worked remotely for 10 years, just have to hook up a Cat 5 line to the new trailer. Matrix Jedi says, here in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, Yoopers! Farmers are offering $20 an hour to milk cows. Finding work is no problem. It is snowing.
$20 an hour to milk a cow? Wow.
And they're usually not talking about hand milking anymore. Yeah. It's machine milking. You're just hooking them up and taking them off.
People don't want to work anymore. People don't want to work for other people. People don't even want to work for themselves. It's like idiocracy. They want to sit in their chair, look at their screen,
drink their drink,
and not do anything except melt into their chair. That's what people want to do.
There's a waiting list for Starlink to be available in Grace Acres area. Wow. Pauline says she's from Texas. No Uber DoorDash where I live. Lost Light NW Lower. I used to live down your way a few years ago. Living by drone in your area makes sense. There's nothing to hit that cost a ton of money in a lawsuit. Westfield Forge says, our garden's getting bigger every year, and I'm looking forward to the farmer's market to get more fresh stuff. Hallelujah. I actually got my first call requesting 4 dozen of my children's eggs from Grace Acres. Well, congratulations. Micah says, look at the new Starlink availability map. Some places have right nearby that you can get service and you can work around the wait. Let's see. Started spring gardens last year and into this year. Spring greens, carrots, onion, broccoli, etc. Hallelujah. Everywhere is hiring around here, but no one wants to work. It's so sad. Right? I mean,
that's because the government pays these people not to work with your tax dollars. They take money from you and give it to these yahoos not to work.
So
why are we feeding the system? We just fed the system today, didn't we? Oh.
It's our choice, though. We're not doing it because we're, depending on.
But how nice would it be if we weren't having to feed a third of it to the government?
Most hospitals in northern Tennessee have multiple floors closed due to the nursing shortage. A good time to learn how to stay out of the hospital.
The self-inflicted nursing shortage. There was no shortage of nurses, and then they fired them all because they refused to,
get the jab.
I wasn't going to say that word, but yeah.
Well, and nurses also figured out it's way more money if you just become a traveling nurse and not a resident nurse. And so I saw a whole thing on Instagram where the nurses were just saying it's better pay, it's not as restrictive.
They're also treated like crap by the doctors.
Yeah, and it's not permanent, and you can move around and go where the money is for those nurses. We added larger area in the garden just for corn. This year, I plan on trying to grow corn in my chickens' run. I have multiple little doorways and stuff, and I'm just going to keep them out of the one area and plant
paddocks. You have paddocks for the chickens.
Yeah, and probably add another paddock too, but keep them off of the one where they've been scratching and digging for a long time. Where's your squirter?
I have it. If he doesn't listen to me.
Some chickens are children until you cook them, said Mikey. All right.
Get back.
Get back. Let him. In town, fast food places are $16 an hour and still can't get people. That's the point I wanted to make. So I was reading an article, and it was trying to sound friendly and whatever, but basically it was slamming the U.S. Like, people can't get jobs in the U.S.
No, they can't.
It's a horrible economy, blah, blah, blah. And I said, this is just propaganda. It's just propaganda. It is junk. You got to use hand moves. It keeps people's attention. And here's an example, all right? Shonda Rhimes is the lady who wrote Grey's Anatomy. And she was a single African-American woman in Hollywood. And if you would believe everything about Hollywood, she's never going to get a job. She's never going to get paid for anything, whatever.
She's probably a millionaire.
She is a millionaire now. She has 3 different TV shows. That's in the last 10 years where
she's obviously talented.
And she worked hard. She did the thing of writing these shows and selling the ideas.
Think about how many times she was probably rejected before she was accepted.
She didn't give up. You have to be committed to your cause. She's one example. Bear Independent is another one. And so is this guy. He's a successful YouTube person. I know how hard he worked to do that and how much time he dedicates to that. And he's got a successful channel. Bear's business, Refuge Medical, started from nothing.
Literally
0 did he know about any of that stuff. But he heard about it, got interested in it, did research, did the actual work, gathered
did
the
some
materials,
self-education,
right? Put together things and then advertise them and talk about them. And made contacts and researched and everything else. And so Refuge Medical is a legitimate business. business now, and that's happened in the last 3 years?
Yeah, 3 or 4 years.
3 or 4 years?
And they're
Right.
on a climb path.
And he has employees, and he keeps doing the work. They advertise their kids. They do trainings and show their kids.
They have the best kids in the industry.
Right. He researched it. He
just decided we're going to be number one.
Goes on other people's channels and talks about them. He does a lot of work. W-O-R-K. So,
Wait. I thought he just sat back, smoked cigars, and drank
little
bourbon.
sprinkle, magic fairy dust.
He does more than
Successful
smoke
business.
cigars and drink bourbon.
Right.
He has to W-O-R-K?
Yeah.
The W word?
The W word. So my point is
what
this.
fun is that?
One, the media is trying to sell the idea that, so sad, nothing's going right in America, you can't get anywhere, you need to just sit and suck your thumb and play your games in your mom's basement. No. Anyone with a good idea, who's committed to that idea and uses their brain, does some research, and tries, can start a successful business. That is what America offers everyone. And we are one of the countries in the world where you can do that all on your own. The government doesn't have to get involved in that at all. You don't
overly
have
much.
Overly much. Pay your taxes, do your paperwork. But go to a communist country and try to start a business. The government owns your business.
Go to half of the third world socialist bureaucratic hellholes we lived in and tried to.
You're not going to get permits. You're not going to ever get off the ground. America offers you the opportunity. America does not hand you all this stuff for free. You have to do the work, but you can start a successful business at any time in America. You just have to do it. So I got to throw that out because I'm against our media selling that idea, but I'm also against the whole cultural, the world's a sad place, I can't do anything, I'm just going to remain depressed and drunk, and I'm checked out, I'm never going to get involved. All right. Westhold Forge said,
it's almost a rant.
I know, and I do it sometimes. Oh, thank you, Ken. Ken just donated some money.
Thank you.
Afterburn, be safe. Little gas money. Thank you very much, Ken. That is very kind of you. I wanted to read Westhold Forge's comment. I could quit my job and have a choice of 5 to 6 new ones tomorrow. There is no job shortage right now, and you are getting double the amount you would have gotten 10 years ago, 5 years ago.
Good thing milk's double what it was 5
right?
years
Inflation is making it, expensive or whatever, but take advantage of it. Get 2 jobs. Hell, you could be making $40.
How many jobs you got?
I got 5 jobs. I'm even getting calls to go back to work, as it is really difficult to find someone in my day job with my experience. My first condition was no abomination job requirement, right? You can even make your own. I don't work on Shabbat. Okay, we don't care. Just come in and do some kind of work. Colleen Rodimer said, I can stock shelves for $20 or $40 an hour. Heck yeah. Do it. And if you're a believer like we are, you are told to be the best servant in the pool of servants, so that your boss looks at you and goes, why are you the servant who shows up on time, does your work the whole time you're here, never shows up drunk or high, works on holidays that everybody else wants off? Why are you so special? And that's when you get to say, because I have Yahweh and I follow the Torah. And they're going to start looking for more Torah observant servants because you're a good employee. You stand out from the crowd. So this is a time to take advantage of that. All right, so there is Champ du Soleil. Shalom. Shalom, sister. Good to see you on Passover. Broccoli Ranch said, PJ singing, I love it. Colonel Sanders was 65 when he started the KFC franchising.
Wow.
He was already retired and said, I love me some fried chicken.
And I can't get good fried chicken anywhere around here.
And I want to make some.
And it doesn't taste like it used to.
No, it doesn't.
When I was a kid, my parents would splurge about once a month because they didn't have a lot of money. But they'd buy like a big bucket of chicken and mashed potatoes and biscuits and all that stuff. And I remember what it tasted like. And we had some of that a year or two ago, and it didn't taste the same. We even ordered the original recipe.
I'm sure the recipe, not for the batter, but like just in general, has changed. Colleen said, never thought of it that way. Yeah, Colleen. Russell Forsyth got a 3% raise, so my money is only worth 5.5% less this year.
Right.
From the inflation so far.
Right.
Better half starting spray foam business.
We have a brother doing that.
Yeah, Shanti Soleil. It's probably her husband.
Oh, is that who I think it is?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't know that's who that
Well,
was.
there you go. My income idea when things go bad is hiring my canning skills. You never know. There are people who like to grow gardens and don't know how to can or don't want to try.
Tell them your story when we lived outside of Fort Bragg.
I found a person in North Carolina who had a huge garden in his front yard, living in our neighborhood, and I stopped and talked to him once. Actually ate some of the blackberries off his vines, which were right on the road. He yelled at me, and I'm like, "Hey, I noticed you have this garden. Do you can any
Undeterred,
of it?"
Sister Kate presses forward.
That's right. Sorry for your berries, but look at what you're producing. Do you can? And he said, no, his mama canned. He had her equipment, but didn't can anything. And I said, well, guess what? I'm canning, but I have no garden. How about I can what you make and we'll split it and we'll use my jars? And he said, okay. And so I made that deal with him. There's Donald Young again. Shalom. Oh, Landkeeper said they took the MSG out of KFC.
No wonder it doesn't taste as good.
I love your stream, and thank you both and your husband for sharing your wisdom. You're welcome. Oh, John Fessenden gave $5. Thank you, John.
You know, I had a comment on my Patreon this morning that I've only made 2 good videos in the last 2 years. Like, why are you still here?
So you're watching every single video so you can say only 2 out of the last 2 years? Like, don't you have something
Well,
better
my
to do
point,
with
I
your
didn't
time?
say anything, but I'm like, well, why are you still here then?
Right. Forestry mulching costs $1,000 a day.
What costs $1,000?
Forestry mulching.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't know what you mean by that, Hunter. Kirk, you might want to tell us more about it. Smiling Mary says, I get asked to can things for people a lot. And charge for your time and the jars, Mary. Don't do it for free.
How much is your time worth?
Your time is worth something. Let's see.
That's pretty. Right in there, around that creek.
Yeah, that is pretty. Kind of swampy, too. My wife is starting to make vinegar and is studying on the canning, so we shall see how it goes. I make vinegar all the time, Westfield and Forge. It was a little Japanese lady married to a brother who pulled me aside and said, here, I made this. And she handed me a jar. I said, what is it? She goes, it's pear vinegar. I said, how did you make it? She kind of spoke very quickly, and I didn't quite get what she said, so I looked it up. You basically, to make apple vinegar, only need like some apple peels and water and sugar in a quart jar, like a teaspoonish of sugar, and then the water not chlorinated in the jar with the apple peels and a little bit from a vinegar like Bragg's that already has the mother in it. You put it in there and cover it with a paper towel and let it sit for like 6 weeks, and it makes vinegar. It's the easiest thing in the world. I have like 5 jars of vinegar sitting around in our kitchen. It looks like
A science experiment.
a science experiment, like a Disney sort of horror movie. If you go into the kitchen and just see these jars sitting there, because I don't.
You have jars of like dried weeds and jars of
Right, it's not.
coconut flakes.
Yeah, it's not. I have Newton skin and frog or anything. It's real stuff, but it looks funky. But it's the easiest thing. And if for any reason it starts getting like a mold film on the top of it, that's just because it's not acidic enough. Throw more apple cider vinegar in there and it'll take the acidity down. Oh, somebody else gave some too. Force Repair just gave $10.
Thank you.
Next bag of jerky is on me. Shalom.
Thank you.
Trying to make my own, and tips for jerky. You just want to cut it really, really thin, marinate it with something kind of salty, like
May I?
soy
I've
sauce,
made lots of jerky.
and then cook it slow.
You don't have to necessarily slice it really, really thin. You have to slice it consistently. And so, like, I like to go a little bit less than a quarter inch. And then we marinate it in kind of the kind I make, but you can do anything like SK said. We make kind of like a teriyaki sauce that has a fair amount of salt in it. And we'll soak it in the fridge for a day or two like that. And then we just put it in a dehydrator and dehydrate it. And I store it as sticks in either in a jar or usually just in Ziploc bags in the cupboard. And I've had people in the past ask me, how long does a jerky last stored in Ziploc bags in your cupboard like that? I'm like, in my house, about 2 weeks, because it all gets eaten.
It all gets eaten.
And our little girl, one time when she was in public school, all the jerky's disappearing. And I found out she was selling it for a nickel a stick at school. I said, stop that. Yeah.
Shop du Soleil gave us $10. Love
Thank
doing
you.
the things with you peoples. We love doing them with you too. And we need to talk about doing some stuff together there, young lady. Self-sufficiency, we've been making a lot of jerky, and my recipe is just pour stuff in a bowl for a marinade until I think it looks good. There you go. And it does help if your marinade has some salt in it.
Or soy sauce
help.
or something.
Yeah, it'll help dry it. And really the thing about jerky is make it dry. Low temps, long time. Like if you put it in the stove, just put something in the door so the moisture can
Lowest
escape.
setting.
Like 170 degrees or something, or you can put it in the sun.
Put it in the car.
You can put it in your car in the dashboard area.
It doesn't need to be industrial. I don't know that you necessarily want sun on it. You just want it hot. So like the whole car is going to be with the cars. You can put it in the back seat.
Oh, okay.
Right.
And maybe cracked a little so the
moisture
escapes. Yeah, it's the biggest thing. Grace Acre says, I tried to make jerky once. Only the dogs could eat it. Well, try again. Because it's not that hard and you can do it.
I use like brown sugar and soy sauce, or sometimes white sugar and soy sauce, and ginger and garlic, and I throw hot pepper in there, and I just make like this liquid, and I soak it all in there for a day or two.
Lost Light says, I never had jerky turn out good either.
Huh.
Just simplify your process. Just, cut it consistently. I think it should be in thin strips.
It should be thin, but the most important thing is that they're
Low
all the
heat,
same.
long time.
Yep.
All right, West Hope Forges. We got a $30 dehydrator off of Amazon, and it's had something in it 24/7 for the past month. You can dehydrate greens. I'm a big proponent of that. The clover that's out there now, the Williams Quarter's coming up. There's henbit. There's chickweed out there. All that stuff can be dried, and it, you just put in little containers. You can dry fruit. You can dry peppers. You can dry peas.
Yeah, all your veg.
All sorts of veg and fruit.
So SK will sit down most mornings and have a thing of yogurt for breakfast, and she'll reach into one of her jars with dried green weeds in it that she's picked, and she'll crumple up her weeds into her yogurt and eat it, so you're getting those vitamins.
I throw those things in all kinds
You throw it
of
in
stuff.
everything. You throw it in the eggs, you throw it in the soup, you throw it in the roast.
Right? It's good for your guts too. It helps keep your guts regular and normal. It's just a wonderful thing. Hunter Kurt's got to go. Jay
Yeah, Hunter
John's, here's a jerky favorite, Jay John said. I guess that means you maybe put in a recipe.
When Jay Johns talks meat, I listen.
Hello, late working in the new greenhouse, says Ledwin Mayer.
I wish I was working in a greenhouse right now instead of driving.
Well, you can work in ours. You can dry frozen veggies if you don't have them in the garden. That's right. You can buy a
Because
bag,
they're already blanched.
right, of frozen veg and just throw them right in the dehydrator.
Yep.
Sister Kiana and I have a question on that. When you dehydrate a green, does it become mush when you cook it or eat it? Sort of. I mean, you don't really see it.
You crumple it all up.
Yeah,
You can't really see it.
it depends on what you're putting it into. Like if you put it in eggs, you can kind of see it as little green flakes in there. But when it's in soup, you don't really notice it. It's there.
She's not putting it in as a big dried leaf. She literally crumples it.
But you could put it in as a big dried
I guess
leaf.
you could.
I just find it easier to store it if it's crumpled up. It's harder to store a big dried leaf and keep it from crumbling.
Yeah, don't tell the tobacco farmers that.
Dried fruit leather has vitamin C in it. Grace Acre says we've got tons of dead nettle. Excuse me, our animals love to eat the dead nettle, and I know it's used as an herb. I just don't remember which, and I know you can eat it. And I
remember when we made exactly that nettle cream of mushroom soup?
Yeah, but it's a different dead nettle and that nettle are a little
That was
different.
stinging nettle that we used.
Stinging
Man,
nettle.
that was good.
It was a good soup. Mostly cream.
It was.
Red Cat says, I dehydrate daily, everything I can find. Stinging nettles dry well, they sure do.
Make cordage out of them. And Sister Kate made me this hair tonic out of it. And I'd stick my comb in and comb my hair, and it like put it all in place and looked almost like a sheen and like held it. And it worked really well.
Scotty John says, Shalom, Sister Kate and PJ. Colleen Brodemer says, can't wait to get a greenhouse. Cleaver's question, Elena Mayer says.
Mm-hmm.
What is your Cleaver's question? I'm a Dapper Dan man, said West Old Forge.
Well, ain't this just a geographical oddity? Two weeks from everywhere.
Cleavers are great for liver tox. Oh, cleavers, you're talking about the plant, the cleavers. Okay, we have cleavers too. The goats
We were talking about cleavers yesterday.
Yeah,
Like
I
the
thought you
metal
meant the
steel
tool.
cleavers.
Yeah, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah, the cleavers are up. Rain Cat says I make nettle and potato soup. That would be good. Susan Bryant, who is also a channel supporter, you get a shout out. Hey, Susan Bryant.
Aren't you supposed to sing like "Shalom" or something like that?
Well, I can shout out any way I want.
Oh, okay. I thought you did the little singing.
I do sometimes, and other times I point, and sometimes I'm like, yay! It doesn't, it's all things. My husband makes jerky. After eating it, I can no longer stand store-bought. Well, and it just proves to you how bad the store-bought is, but they're doing it for commercial processing, so it's not usually as good. Although,
Where's our bag? I want to do another commercial.
let me see if I can find it for you there. Hold on there, young fella.
Is that the only bag you have, by the way?
That is the only bag.
Don't worry about it. I was just teasing.
You guys ever seen that movie, The Great Santini?
Oh, what a great movie. What a great actor. Robert Duvall.
That's this guy.
Bobby Duvall.
We're not going to stop for any reason whatsoever. Not food, not drink, nothing.
Mission.
We're just going to get there.
We're getting to Shofar Mountain. Let's
Um,
go.
Just like the brew cream mix that ate. Yes, that hair tonic was like that.
The dabble do you?
Dead nettle is used for upper respiratory and swelling. Thank you, Colleen. The glare. The store-bought jerky, it's because of the sulfates they use that makes it taste funny, and to keep the sulfates are to keep it dry and so it doesn't get moldy.
Man, somebody
and
gave me an organic wine one time. It was so good, and I commented on it after I finished the bottle, and they said it's because it didn't have sulfites in it. And so then I found out where they got it, and I bought another bottle of it.
It was wine. It was an organic
Yeah,
wine.
it was good. Those sulfites, you're unsafe.
I know I am. I'm trying to cut.
Well, we know that.
I think it's the sunlight pouring in the window. All right. Merce Micah says, great stream, SK and PJ.
Is that our Micah?
I don't know. Is it the Micah?
Is
Merce
it
Micah?
the Micah?
I think it might be the Micah. Micah, you're probably not the 15-year-old we remember anymore. You're probably gotten
No,
a little bit
I saw
older,
him in a video. He's like a man.
right? You're probably all grown up and have young
He's all grown
of your
up.
own.
If it's that Micah.
If you're the Micah we think it is. I made pounds of jerky from the last of London broiled in the freezer. My son ate it all in 2 days. That is the way of making jerky. It really doesn't end up lasting very long at all because it's so much better tasting.
Come on, dude.
Thanks, fam. I need to harvest a bunch. There's Oregon Berry, who is also a channel supporter and donator to the Piano Fund. He's a musician, Oregon Barry. Good morning from Oregon, and he got a shout out. Piano shout out.
Part of Oregon.
Soon to be northern Idaho.
You're living in your own private Idaho. It's not oomph, it's kuhimp.
Whatever. Have to change my name to Northern Idaho Barry, and Hunter Kirk's up there somewhere, who's also on the live streams.
Whoa, I like that song.
The sun is out and it's warming up in the Ozarks today.
Yay!
Most wine nowadays uses a form of pig in it. I don't know how. I'd have to call the people I know make wine. I make wine. There is no pig in my wine, not even a little bit. Silver Lining says, yay, Idaho. Is Glock says, deer jerky.
Tell them about Idaho, huh? Tell them a story of Idaho.
Well, we were up there one time.
Camping our way towards Glacier National Park.
We should do this as an intro. We didn't always vacation together. He often vacationed as a hunting trip, which I didn't really want to go on, and I vacationed to go to the beach, which he didn't really want to go on. And so for once, we decided we're going to vacation as a family. We packed up the bag and moved to Beverly. We put the dog in the car and all the kids, and we're in a big old Suburban, and we're driving.
Oh yeah, that was Claymore.
Yeah.
Our first Ridgeback.
Our first Ridgeback. And we were driving with all our camping stuff through Washington State and then up into Idaho. And
up 95, I think it's called, that road that goes up.
And I think the first place we camped at was by a lake. Wasn't that right? It was by a lake. It was really nice, very picturesque and everything, beautiful. And then we kept moving.
Went to Colville?
Went to Colville. That was in Washington State.
There's turkeys up there.
Idaho is an adventure.
See those turkeys?
I do see those turkeys.
Oh.
1, 2, 3, 4 out in the
Oh,
field.
I
In the middle of
love
the
spring
day.
turkey.
Had 2 adventures in Idaho. I'm not going to go into both stories.
There's a flock out there too.
Huge detail.
Oh, we're in turkey country.
You are definitely in turkey.
Oh man.
Ooh, turkey feeder. The first adventure we had was going into a campground and me noticing 2 gentlemen in a beat-up-old station wagon reading newspapers. The whole
I thought it
time,
was a Caprice Classic, but whatever.
the whole time that we are there, like parking, unloading all our stuff, walking around, looking at the restrooms, setting up camp, they're still in their car. And I told him it's suspicious. And he said, no, it'll be all right.
I'm a Green Beret, who cares?
Long story short, they were criminals with warrants who were parked in this camping area, probably trying to hide out. And just not doing a very good job of it. Because when you go to a camping area, you look like you're camping. You set up a tent, you start a fire, and they're still just sitting in their car. So
Cover for status.
we got the
Be a camper.
we got the popo involved, and they kind of flushed the guys out of the campground. And we said we're not staying here because they can come back later at night. So that was one thing that happened. The other thing that happened, if I'm remembering correctly,
We did stay there that night. I built a bunker, but it's okay. I'll tell the story for the
right,
Warriors
you'll
are
get
also
the whole
berserkers.
you'll get the whole story on his Patreon in a different way. We came upon the filming of the movie The Postman with Kevin Costner and the little town that they completely transformed into a set
And
for
Tom
the
Petty,
movie.
who gave me a beer one time. But go on.
And they had like a whole area set up for costumes and a whole camping area for their extras, and
We went through several sets.
yeah, several different areas. And they actually said, wow, they were casting for extras a couple of days ago. If you guys had come by then, they'd probably have put you in the movie. But we didn't. So those were the 2 things that happened in Idaho. It was very exciting. And there was a hell of a lot of mosquitoes up there.
Yeah, there's a lot of mosquitoes in northern Idaho, bro.
And they're hungry. All right, so is blocked. It says deer jerky, soy, Worcestershire, liquid smoke, black pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, seasonal red pepper flakes. Sounds like a good recipe. I'm running on the elliptical west of Portland, raised in Central Oregon. All right. So let's see. Comments. Silver lining. I'm close to Yellowstone here in Idaho, but it is always an adventure living here.
So,
and
like, what's the
traveling
low
around.
gonna be tonight, or what was the low temperature last night in northern Idaho near Yellowstone? I bet you it was freezing.
Pretty sure it's kind of cold. Not gonna lie.
Is this a popo? If it's not a popo, I'm gonna speed back up.
I don't know. I saw no markings on him. If he is a popo, then it is not marked popo. Sister Kate, I have to commend you. You have the unique ability to keep a story short. When I start telling a story, I can't stop myself from diving into the details when I should. Well, it's also because I'm lazy right now, and I really don't want to try to remember all the little bitty details.
It looks like a police car. All right.
Silver Lining says it was about 36
Bring it
degrees.
back up to 160 knots. Roger.
How big or small do you cut raw meat before putting it in the dehydrator?
About a little bit less than a quarter-inch thick. It doesn't matter how long or how wide.
Quarter-inch thick, a little bit less than. She gets to the point.
And it's easier to cut when it's frozen thawing out. You just cut it like really good slices.
Colleen Rodimer says she gets to the point. I love that about Sister Kate. Well, thank you very much. I like the,
Have y'all ever listened to Mr. Ballin? It's Balin. He's a former Navy SEAL who tells stories on YouTube. And when my daughter told me about it, I'm like, shh, I don't want to listen to some dude telling stories. What happened to all the comments?
They just need to be refreshed.
We're still on?
Yeah. D.L. Hemingway says
Anyway,
stay
he's got pretty good stories. Mr. Ballin, Ballin.
Just make jerky. You'll figure it out, says Mad Kelp. But they've already tried once, Mad Kelp, and it didn't work, so they don't want to try again.
Once bitten, twice shy, Mad Kelp.
But don't worry about it, folks. Try again. Sometimes,
If at first you don't succeed, try again.
right. Sometimes you don't want to leave the meat in the marinade for days.
No.
We did that once, and it was awful.
Right,
Just
it
a
was.
couple of hours.
I'll leave it overnight.
Or even overnight, but don't do it for a couple of days because stuff like soy and all that gets really too salty after that time. All right. We've been living in a home, private Idaho.
I really like the way they did their, I don't even know if you can call it harmony, but they go on like two different tracks and bring it
Yeah,
back.
that's harmony. Last night in Texas, 40 to 60 at night. Well, of course.
That's like open the windows weather.
Yeah, Mr. Ballin is great, PJ said, forest preparedness. And doesn't matter what cut of meat, said Lost Light.
Probably, but we always just use roasts and it turns out fine.
Yeah, the
Or
cheaper
if it's deer, the back leg.
the cheaper the cut of meat, it'll be tougher if you want it to be more
You want to cut
tender.
across the grain too.
Right, and the grain is like the actual lines in the meat, and you want to cut across that. Yes, not with it, and it'll make chewing it easier too. All right, have you guys made pemmican? Says Alpha Jack.
Sorta. I made it with venison jerky, dried cherries, and peanut butter.
Mm-hmm.
And it was pretty good.
It's pretty
And
tasty.
very calorie dense.
And the nut called hackberry. If you have hackberry trees, it gets these little red fruits on it. Near the end of the year, like November-ish. It's a fruit and a nut, and that's supposedly what the real pemmican was made with, mixed with the venison.
Oh,
And then the
I
bear
think they
fat.
probably use whatever berries they have. They dried them.
If I gave up every time I failed the first time, I'd be a socialist, says Mad Cow.
Think about Edison, right? Didn't he famously fail a bazillion times?
Yeah,
before
like
he made a
1,000
light bulb?
times before he came up with a working light bulb. Isglock says you can use a jerky gun and get uniform pieces from scrap.
Yeah, I don't like the way the jerky gun jerky tastes, because a real piece of jerky, you go like, "Argh," and you rip it off. The jerky gun stuff is kind of like a Slim Jim or that fake jerky that you buy in the gas station.
It's actually,
to me,
I think it's good for your
because we have a jerky gun
to do the actual pulling and gnawing. I think it's good for your jaw.
They were gnawed upon.
Yes. Thank you for that answer. I have to try making it. Yes, you do. Ron says Cabela's sells the jerky guns.
That's where we got ours.
Cabela's sold out.
And then we got our jerky gun for free, like almost everything else we ever got in.
They used to have a wonderful rewards card, and they were super good to their credit card people. Had concierge service on it.
How did you use this concierge service, SK?
So 1 or 2 times when I was driving places long distances with children and pets, and I started to realize I wasn't going to make my goal and I needed to stop short for whatever reason, I would call the concierge service on the back of the credit card, and they would find me a hotel that would take the pet that was in my area and within a certain amount of money. They did all the calling for me and would call back and say,
free.
We've got this
Just
hotel.
call the number and say, hey, this is me, this is my credit card number, this is what I need. And they're like, all right, we'll get back with you. You hang up, you drive, they say you're booked at the Holiday Inn, it's in 30 minutes ahead of you.
Is that good? And I'd say, yep, and they'd book the room for me, and then I just show up. It was wonderful.
But then when they switched to Bass Pro Shop,
not as good a service.
And you don't get that at all. And the credit card's not as good.
Yeah, I did not like it, and they made me so mad I canceled the credit card. Yeah.
Credit card we had for decades.
Like, you have got to. It was a MasterCard too. Sorry, MasterCard, but I don't like you. I like Visa. Oregon Berry says, I was a senior manager for Cabela's in charge of firearms. You were the man. Why didn't you tell us that before?
So how did you make any money there? Because I think if I was a senior manager in charge of firearms, I would spend my paycheck with my employee discount. Look, I get 20% off or whatever you get. I'm sure you got some.
Yep. Oregon Berry said, it used to be great. Yeah. Mad Celt says Cabela's has tanked since Bass Pro bought them out.
Oh, of course.
Because Cabela's understood their customers. They knew who they were selling to. And so they made their business friendly to their customers. Mm-hmm. And it made us all happy, and we made them rich. And then obviously
they made us happy, we made them rich.
Obviously they got older, they didn't want to run the business anymore. When Bass Pro took it over, Bass Pro is not the same people. They're not catering to their hunters and their outdoorsmen. They're catering to their fishermen and whoever else, and they just sold out. They sold out, and they lost our business. Anyway, have you guys ever made duck bacon? It's awesome. I had it on a pizza once. No, we have not.
Really like duck. I like duck curry and clean gumbo.
Oregon Berry said, laugh out loud. My wife gave me a budget, but I'm well stocked.
It's like, I was just telling somebody today about a gun safe. Oh yeah, we got exit. You can never buy a gun safe too big. I have 15 guns. I'm going to buy a 30 gun safe. You're going to need another safe.
Okay, so Wes Holdford said, if I wasn't on call, I would get a second job at somewhere that sells firearms just for the discount.
We know a guy, right?
Yep. Mosby's Man Ozark says, I need some walking onions. I know where you can get some, my brother. You are welcome to come get them yourself, or if you want me to.
He's coming, them. Like this week, I think.
Okay, come get some. You can have as many as you'd like. What's the smallest pond ducks would need? I am looking at a couple of properties online that are just under an acre in size.
So wait, let me tell this, and then you can say whatever you're going to say.
Okay.
We rented this huge, looks like it's made to drive on the moon forklift thing. Had articulated wheels, and it could lift it up 100 feet, whatever. And we were moving logs on our land with it, and the back tire got stuck in, believe it or not, mud on Shofar Mountain. The one place on Shofar Mountain where there's mud. And it went, that's technical term, and it sunk down about 3 feet and about 5 feet wide. That is now a duck pond. All right,
Yeah,
go on.
the duck pond that's in my videos where I'm down by the orchard and I show the ducks in the pond is about 8 by 8.
Yeah.
And it's about 2 foot deep, and they're very happy with it. Now, the thing about having ducks is they do need access to water every day to like swish through their bill and everything. And online people would say it's got to be fresh water every day from hose.
It does not.
I don't think that's true, because their systems are geared to be, in the wild, and ponds in the wild are not clean, if you know what I mean. There's all sorts of leaf refuse and fish poop and everything
Duck
else
poop,
in a regular
goose
pond.
dead deer.
So you also see in my area, I have like the little blue pools and concrete mixing bins and stuff with water in it. I think it's probably best if you have more than one option for them. So if they don't want to go in the one for whatever reason, you can have, another one for them to go. And I guess a really good answer would be as big as you can get. But if you can't get one that's huge, don't worry about it. In the Pacific Northwest, there was a place called G.I. Joe, which started with surplus and had car parts as well as a lot of sporting goods. They changed to primarily clothes and shoes, and they went broke because no.
Because no.
Dude stores make a lot of money because dudes work and dudes have interests. And so here's another thing that started out kind of small and has gotten huge. Harbor Freight tools. Yeah, they're cheap Chinese junk, but they come with decent warranties and they're easy to get to. And so, yes, dudes go there and buy stuff all the time, and they have specials and coupons and stickers and freebies, and guys are making them a very rich place because dudes, yes, that's why bars make money. That's why liquor stores make money. That's why auto parts like O'Reilly's and AutoZone are still open because dudes spend money. The shelves at Harbor Freight have been in here lately.
Because China.
Muscovy ducks were better ducks due to them. Where is that comment? I want to read that. I would guess the ducks, chickens, it depends on what breeds to get. It would depend on the base climate of where you're looking to build as a place to what breeds to get. Yes, and quite frankly, a lot of livestock breeds are there for the looks. Right now on Instagram, every single post that I get is about chickens. It's the floofy ones and the ones with lots of different colors and stuff. That's all girls. They all want these pretty flocks. So breeds to get for your livestock are what you want. If you want one that lays more than the others, then find breeds that lay eggs more like chickens, like every day. And for chickens, do you want ones that lay a lot of eggs but you don't care to eat? That's a runner duck.
Whoa, dude. Off the road.
And like Leghorn chickens lay a lot of eggs. Or do you want a big heavy body breed like the Barred Rocks that do both? Muscovy ducks are better ducks due to them eating their weight in bugs and mosquitoes. They love them. It's crack to them. So I need to get a couple of Muscovies. 29 in southern Ohio last night and 1 inch of snow this morning. Well, hopefully your fruit trees weren't in bloom. I bagged our trees twice this month. And I swore, like, that's it. It's so much work. I'm not going to do it again. Muscovy ducks love to eat slugs, too.
We don't really have a lot of slugs where we are.
No.
It's not like the Pacific Northwest.
Right, yeah. But we have a lot of mosquitoes.
We do.
And if they eat mosquito larvae, that's awesome. And Muscovies are supposed to be good moms. They're supposed to be good at hatching out the babies. All right. Ocelorps and Americanas are good layers. They are. I like the look of an Ocelorp. And the Americanas lay the colored eggs.
Boy, they're full. friendly farm?
Yeah, they are super full. Well, it's spring. We have eggs up the wazoo, says Nineveh Forage. Have you heard that Canada is joining the U.S. in an effort to cull the chickens in North America? I have not heard it in the way you're phrasing it.
Maybe they'll put the chicken people as our neighbors out of business, and then we can buy their land cheap. Have a lot of big buildings that we could use.
That would be fine with us. However, the culling in our country, as far as I understand it, and I heard an interview on a radio show with an agriculture officer. The culling is due to the avian flu, sorry, and it is a standard practice in America to cull all the birds on a farm that have the avian flu on that farm, and neighboring farms if they find any evidence that it's spread, and they also disinfect an area all around the farm. So if Alpha Jack, if that's what you're talking about, yes, I know about that, and I don't have any problem with that. We have huge industrial farms that breed a lot of birds, and if it's going to make other birds sick or people sick, then yes, culling them is one way to do it. Will that cause shortages? Probably.
Yeah, shortages in everything are not only coming, they're here. And you should be stocked up to the gills, to the rafters, with everything that you normally buy. If you normally go out and buy it, you should already have it.
Or have it your own live version of it.
Right, or be able to produce it.
Right?
Use it up, wear it out, make it do, or do without.
Forest Dog says, I love my Russian Orloffs. Mike says, I don't want to know what an egg in the wazoo feels like. No, you probably don't. Never started fruit trees from seed. I've got 22 apple seeds that sprouted in the fridge over winter, just planted them in cups. I have not, but I've seen lots of videos on it. And Anthony Jensen, if you keep them moist and warm, they're going to become little seedlings, and then you can plant them in the ground, and congrats to you. Good job. The guys in white bags show up at my homestead to cull chickens. They might be leaving the bags they are wearing.
Dogs gotta eat.
I did repairs on the chicken and hog farms in my youth. Those factory farms are nasty. Yes, they are.
The chicken you get on a piece of styrofoam, lovely wrapped in plastic, is disgusting the way it's raised, dispatched, cleaned, and put in that package that you buy in the store.
But it doesn't make you sick. And it's really hard to commercially raise hundreds of thousands of birds a day without controlling it. So I know they're nasty, and
how else are the people on the eastern seaboard going to eat if we don't factory farm all these critters? Right? I mean, it's a reality. They can't all raise their own chickens and grow their own vegetables.
And factory farming has allowed America to grow. It has allowed people to produce enough food to feed millions of people. And so on one hand, I would love it if it was organic and user-friendly and everything.
But it's not practical for the whole country.
It would be very hard to do, and that's why, locally sourcing, doing it yourself, or supporting...
Moving out to the boonies where you can raise your own chickens.
A community-supported farm is an alternative, and I agree with the alternatives as well. Here's Clock. SK, my wife has a black thumb, so I run our greenhouse every year. Do you have an automatic watering system or just use a water can? All I have right now is a water can. Do you use grow lights indoors to grow things like lettuce? No, I do not. We are off-grid. I don't want to use power for grow lights. I don't have room for grow lights. Our house is very small. I have wild lettuce that grows all over my garden, and that is my alternative, is to just use and eat the wild lettuce and allow it to continue to propagate. But I have planted lettuce before in the garden and just grown it from seed. Thank you for that answer, and yes, I'm stocking up, sticking it to the rafters, or stacking it to the rafters, as they say. Awesome. You're right, PJF. It's mostly done with machines that aid about the chickens and stuff. No grow light, but automatic watering is a great idea. Just put it on a timer. It is a great idea. It makes your life simpler.
We were talking the other day, a bunch of Shofarians were sitting around, and most Shofarians, quite frankly, live in a regular house with electricity and plumbing and stuff. And we were talking about how awesome a water hose is, and the ability to just turn on a tap or push the little handle and water comes out of a hose, and you can lay the hoses out wherever you want them to go. And I'm telling you, hoses are amazing, and having water, unlimited water, you're not worried about your cistern draining down. It's not going to rain for a week. That's something you all should be thankful for, and I think most people don't even think about it.
Right, it's just a given anymore. Have you heard of Strikeman, a shooting training system? He has not. My daughters love apples. I saved seed from the apples they ate. Out of 35 seeds, 22 sprouted. Awesome. The Greek Homestead. Is there a way to heal birds with avian flu, or is culling the only solution? I don't know, Greek Homestead. I'm assuming that avian flu, since they're calling it a flu, is a virus. So viruses just go the length of time that viruses go, and then your body either fights it off or you die from it. And it's usually 3 weeks long. So my assumption is if they had the flu and you treated their symptoms, you would probably have some of your birds survive. I don't know. That would be a good thing. The survivability of avian flu for a bird. Paul Gorecki donated $20. Sorry, I have to go. The garden is waiting. Keep up the good work. Shalom. Thank you very much, Paul. I saw an ad for the Strikeman system on Newsmax. It looks to be a system that uses a laser emitter to score hits that chambers into a firearm. I mean, people use it. You're just going to have to try it or read reviews about it, Dio. We don't use that. I use a 50 gauge barrel with a gutter system and gravity to water chickens.
Mm-hmm. I have an idea to do. I even bought the little cups where they hit the little trigger and it makes water come in.
Right, thinking I can rig something similar for the greenhouse. I'm thinking the same thing for my greenhouse is blocked. I'm thinking I should just put a barrel kind of uphill from it and have a hose come out of the barrel.
Sweetie, we can use that IBC tote that's there, fill it from the well that's there, and you'll have 275 gallons of water. We can hook it to a hose and you can just squeeze the hose and turn it on.
Well, let's do it. Can and will get done are two different things. My grandparents had a farm in Vermont and New York, so you can grow things and you can't have chickens and you can't have geese there. Well, that's too bad. Change the local zoning. Go to some
If you have
meetings.
enough land, you can do whatever you want.
Anthony Jensen, have you tried growing winter squash with the melon pit method? No, I have not. Gotta go. Catch your next live stream. All right. See you later. Does wild lettuce really work for pain reliever? I've seen so many videos on it. Not sure about that. Yes, it does. Yeah. It does have pain relieving qualities. And if you do the thing that they say, now you have a pretty good pain reliever.
You know what else works?
What?
Extra strength Tylenol. That's what I take.
Doesn't damage your liver.
Well, there you go. There you go.
Right?
Next time I have pain, we'll try it.
SK and PJ says William Smith.
Bill Smith.
All right. We've been talking an hour and a half.
You want to say goodbye?
Well, let's see what everyone has to say and ask, and then we'll see. Can't do much in New York. That's why I'm getting out of there. Exactly right. You just moved to a place where you can, or a county that you can. If you live near Amish, they probably allow a lot of different stuff because the Amish have to have their buggies and their horses and their fields and their livestock in order to live. We have a brother who put his land right in the middle of an Amish area for the very reason.
Mm-hmm.
Mark says shalom. Water barrels with a system you can water all kinds of stuff. Exactly right. Water barrels and IBC totes. I mean, those black trash cans at Walmart cost like $9. They come with a lid. You can stick them under any building and they catch rainwater, and then it keeps it from getting algae. And if you keep the lid on, you won't get mosquitoes laying in there either. It's pretty cheap. That's a life hack. And you got to hear it here because
You heard it here
subscribe
first from SK.
and you support the channel. So you got that little tidbit free for nothing. All right. Any other questions, comments, topics you want to talk about? Oh, goodness. Off-grid water is easy. You can have good water pressure everywhere if money is not a limit, and if you don't limit up here, because if you can put your water uphill of wherever you're wanting it to come out, the pressure will come from simply having it uphill. And bringing it all up yourself by the PVC pipe and the hoses and everything is a lot cheaper than having a plumber come out and do it all. Trying 40 melon pits this year. Just dig a hole, throw food scrap or dead animals in it, fill with the dirt and plant on top. Sounds good. Sounds like hugelculture in miniature. SK wanted to tell you that after we met in Kentucky, my wife has got her kidney transplant and doing well. Praise Yah. Hallelujah. All right, William Smith. Are you the guy who gave me freeze-dried ice cream, William Smith? Remind me. In Red Dawn, start of World War III, inflators crossed over the south border and caused all kinds of mayhem, and the South America Army marched right into the Great Plains. About to purchase a camper trailer. I know you guys lived on the land for a while. Should I tarp the roof to add extra waterproofing?
No, you should immediately build a roof over top of your camper and put a gutter on it.
Yeah.
If you're going to be in your camper for more than 6 months, the very first thing you should do is build a roof over top of the camper, at least a foot above the camper. Higher's fine, but at least a foot. That allows airflow in the summertime to go through there. It'll keep your camper a lot cooler in the summer. It'll keep it warmer in the winter, and it'll keep it dry, and you can catch all that water. The second thing you should do is put a tarp or an awning, or even if you want to build another roof porch out the front to turn the front of your camper, usually the front right side, the right side of the camper, turn that into a porch, because I don't care how big your camper is, it's going to start feeling small.
That. Okay. Yes, ma'am, and a turkey, said William Smith. That's right. Well, I'm glad to hear that her kidney transplant came through, because I know you really were getting quite upset about that, William. Thank you for sharing that news. We have a lot of Amish bias in New York. Love when they come to our lake with horse-drawn carriages, pulling a rowboat on a trailer. Horse, okay. Tammy Crawford, Shalom, SK, and PJ. Good to catch you live. Mary Seal, I've been so stressed and lack of sleep. Could you tell what day of unleavened bread it is?
Friday's the last day.
Yeah, Friday's the last day. It's unleavened bread right now. It's unleavened bread all week. The commandment is to eat unleavened bread each day. Doesn't say how
no
much.
leaven in your house.
And to have no leaven in your house. So the leaven needs to be out of the house. And that's it. So hopefully you're not stressed about that.
Up here, Steve.
All right, so we're going to stop in a few minutes and we'll turn the live stream off then. Colleen says, grow comfrey. I have comfrey growing. I planted it and then the goats ate it down and it's coming back. So I'm happy about that. Thank you for your time and thank you for your answers. And all you do, much appreciated. Shalom, says Alpha Jack. Thank you and bless y'all. Hillbilly said. Yeah, but Red Dawn was a movie. It also had Cubans flying in and Russians too. That doesn't mean that that guy knew that, 25 years later something would happen. It's extrapolation. Uh-oh. Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. I don't know. So I wouldn't get all wound up about it. Thank you, said, oh yeah. Colleen, yes, comfrey. I made healing ointments with it. Just, Bob said, it's alive! Yeah, it kind of did that on its own. Oh, let's see, anything else? Okay. Rooftop rain gutters to the barrels. Now you have a water system. Yes, you do.
You can get a little solar pump.
Pump it where you need it.
Favorite stuff.
All right, y'all. It's time for us to go. Thank you for coming to the live stream. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for your comments and your questions. Raincat said, always fun to catch you live. We enjoy it too. All right, y'all. Bless